Luke Bryan and Blake Shelton reportedly fed up with Morgan Wallen's wild behavior. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. I hope everyone is having a nice day. Before we begin the video, please subscribe and give the video a thumbs up. Morgan Wallen's name is back in the headlines, and once again, it is not for the music. Country music stories. According to reports, Luke Bryan and Blake Shelton are fed up with the 32-year-old whiskey glasses singer after his latest stunt in Toronto, when he tossed a baseball bat from the stage and accidentally struck Nisha Coyle, wife of MLB All-Star Jose Bautista. The incident left fans stunned, and if whispers out of Nashville are true, it may have been the final straw for two of the genre's biggest stars. They tried to be there for Morgan, who has a track record for bad behavior, but Morgan isn't listening to them, a source told the National Enquirer. What they say goes in one ear and out the other. They're tired of Morgan's irresponsible, immature ways. It is not hard to see why patience is wearing thin. Wallen's rap sheet of public controversies is long enough to fill a greatest hits album of mistakes. Back in 2020, he was arrested in Nashville for public intoxication after a rowdy night out. Later that same year, he got himself pulled from Saturday Night Live for violating COVID-19 protocols at a local bar. By early 2021, a leaked video of him using the N-word led to his suspension from his record label and bans from country radio. For a moment, it looked like he had learned his lesson. Wallen told fans he was stepping away to make good decisions and promised to live healthier and take responsibility. But the chaos followed him. In 2024, he was arrested for hurling a chair off a rooftop in downtown Nashville, nearly hitting two police officers below. He managed to plead down to misdemeanor charges, spending just a week at a DUI education center while dodging what could have been years behind bars. And now, with this latest bat-flinging debacle, even his biggest defenders seem to be running out of grace. For Blake Shelton, the disappointment cuts deep. Wallen first came up through The Voice, and Shelton has admitted he regrets not choosing him as a team member when he had the chance. Over the years, Shelton has publicly shown a soft spot for Wallen, calling him a troubled kid who needs guidance. A source told Radar Online that Shelton still hopes to be the one to turn him around, but even Blake is starting to believe that tough love may be the only option left. He will always have a soft spot for him and hopes Morgan turns it around. But Blake feels tough love is what Morgan needs, the insider explained. Luke Bryan is said to feel the same. He reportedly took Morgan under his wing years ago and tried to advise him on how to stay out of trouble. But this latest incident has left him disgusted. According to the same source, Bryan is ready to step back, although both stars would be there for Wallen if he ever truly decides to change. The problem is that Nashville has only so much patience. Fans may forgive a rowdy night or two, but the string of arrests, cancellations, and controversies is stacking higher than his chart-topping singles. At some point, the music cannot cover for the mayhem. Wallen's talent is undeniable, and his ability to sell out stadiums proves his star power. But when two of the most influential voices in country music, both known for their loyalty and mentorship, start backing away, it is a warning shot louder than any bat hitting concrete. Because in country music, reputation rides right alongside talent. And Morgan Wallen is running out of road. Luke Bryan and Blake Shelton have spent decades building reputations as two of country music's most respected figures, blending chart-topping success with down-to-earth charisma that makes them staples both on stage and on television. Yet recent reports suggest that both superstars have reached a breaking point with one of the genre's most talked-about young artists, Morgan Wallen, whose headline-grabbing antics have overshadowed his undeniable talent. The news that Luke and Blake are reportedly fed up with Morgan's wild behavior has sent ripples through the industry, sparking conversation about responsibility, reputation, and the future of country music. For Morgan Wallen, fame arrived with a mix of raw talent and controversy. His distinctive voice and anthems about heartbreak, small-town life, and rebellion have made him one of the most streamed country artists of the last several years. His fans celebrate his authenticity and relatability, often embracing him as a symbol of modern country's rowdy spirit. But with that fame has come a string of controversies, from public intoxication to questionable remarks and unpredictable behavior offstage. While some see these actions as part of his outlaw image, others argue that his antics threaten to overshadow the music and drag down the genre as a whole. Blake Shelton, long considered one of country's elder statesmen and a mentor figure thanks to his role on The Voice, has reportedly grown tired of defending or even being associated with Morgan's behavior. Known for his humor and easygoing nature, Blake has spent years cultivating an image that balances traditional country roots with crossover appeal. He has spoken openly about the responsibility artists carry to their fans, particularly younger ones who see them as role models. Sources close to the situation suggest that Blake believes Morgan's reckless behavior undermines the hard work of artists who strive to represent country music in a positive light. For a man who built his career on both artistry and integrity, the endless cycle of Morgan's controversies has become more frustrating than entertaining. Bryan's perspective is equally significant. As a judge on American Idol, Luke has embraced the role of mentor and coach, helping young artists navigate the pressures of fame. His brand has long revolved around good-natured fun balanced with professionalism, making him one of the most likable figures in the genre. Reports suggest that Luke sees Morgan's behavior as not only self-destructive but damaging to the broader perception of country music. For someone who has invested years in building bridges between traditional fans and mainstream audiences, Luke's frustration is rooted in a belief that Morgan's antics risk alienating listeners and reinforcing negative stereotypes about country artists. Behind the scenes, the tension highlights a generational clash within the industry. Country music has always carried an outlaw streak, with legends like Johnny Cash and Waylon Jennings carving careers out of rebellious personas. But in the modern age of social media and instant headlines, mistakes are magnified and reputations are harder to repair. Blake and Luke represent a generation of artists who learned to balance the rowdy image with professionalism, ensuring that the music always came first. Morgan, meanwhile, embodies a newer generation where the line between authenticity and recklessness is blurred. His behavior raises the question of whether today's country stars can embrace the wild spirit of the genre without spiraling into controversy that overshadows their art. The reports of Blake and Luke's frustration come at a time when Morgan remains both wildly successful and deeply polarizing. His albums continue to dominate streaming platforms, his concerts sell out stadiums, and his fan base remains fiercely loyal. Yet industry insiders whisper that patience among peers is wearing thin. Both Blake and Luke have worked hard to elevate the perception of country music beyond tired stereotypes, and Morgan's behavior threatens to undo some of that progress. For artists who see themselves as ambassadors of the genre, the constant drumbeat of scandal surrounding him is exhausting. Gwen Stefani, Blake's wife and fellow superstar, has also reportedly voiced her support for Blake's concerns. As someone who transitioned into the country world through her relationship and collaborations with Blake, Gwen understands how much effort it takes to maintain credibility and respect in the industry. She has publicly praised Blake's professionalism and his ability to balance fun with responsibility, and those close to the couple suggest she empathizes with his frustration over Morgan's unpredictability. The industry as a whole has long wrestled with how to handle Morgan Wallen. When past controversies erupted, he faced suspensions from radio and award shows, only to bounce back stronger with streaming numbers that shattered records. His resilience in the face of backlash demonstrates the loyalty of his fan base, but also underscores the difficulty of holding him accountable. For veteran stars like Blake and Luke, this dynamic is frustrating because it sends a message that behavior does not have lasting consequences as long as the numbers stay high. Their reported fed-up attitude may reflect a broader unease among country veterans who feel the genre is at risk of losing its credibility. Fans, as always, are divided. Some argue that Morgan's wild behavior is part of what makes him relatable, pointing out that country music has always celebrated rebellion and imperfection. Others side with Blake and Luke, insisting that while authenticity is important, there is a difference between being real and being reckless. Social media conversations reveal a growing debate about what kind of behavior should be tolerated from artists and what responsibility they have to the industry, their fans, and their peers. It is worth noting that Blake and Luke themselves have built reputations for being fun-loving and sometimes rowdy. Both have been known to enjoy a good time, to joke around, and to push boundaries in their own ways. But their difference lies in knowing when to draw the line. Over time, they matured into roles where professionalism and mentorship took precedence over wild behavior. They now see themselves as stewards of country music's image, which makes their reported frustration with Morgan even more understandable. The tension between Morgan's behavior and the expectations of veterans like Blake and Luke also highlights a broader cultural shift. In today's entertainment world, artists are under constant surveillance. A single misstep can spiral into a viral controversy, and reputations can be destroyed overnight. Yet paradoxically, controversy can also fuel popularity, as Morgan's career has proven. Navigating this landscape requires a delicate balance of authenticity and restraint, a balance that Blake and Luke believe Morgan has yet to master. Looking ahead, the question becomes whether Morgan Wallen will heed the warnings from his peers or continue down his current path. For now, his success shows no signs of slowing, but the patience of industry leaders may not last forever. Blake and Luke's reported fed-up stance is not only about one artist, but about what kind of future country music wants to embrace. Will it continue to reward reckless behavior as long as it sells records, or will it demand accountability and professionalism, even from its brightest stars? The story of Blake Shelton, Luke Bryan, and Morgan Wallen is ultimately about more than personal frustrations. It is about the identity of country music itself. The genre has always prided itself on storytelling, community, and resilience. As it expands into global markets and attracts diverse audiences, maintaining credibility becomes more important than ever. Blake and Luke have built careers on embodying those values while still celebrating fun and authenticity. Their reported weariness with Morgan's wild side is a reflection of their desire to see the genre thrive without being weighed down by scandal. At the heart of this drama is the tension between rebellion and responsibility. Country music fans love a good outlaw, but they also want artists who respect the stage, the audience, and the tradition they represent. Blake Shelton and Luke Bryan, through their actions and words, have positioned themselves as leaders who understand that balance. Their frustration with Morgan Wallen reveals not just personal irritation, but a broader concern for how the genre will be defined in the years to come. For now, the spotlight remains on Morgan Wallen, whose every move is scrutinized, celebrated, and criticized in equal measure. Whether he can adapt and mature in response to the concerns of veterans like Blake and Luke remains to be seen. But one thing is certain: the reported fed-up attitudes of two of country music's biggest stars have elevated the conversation, forcing fans and the industry alike to grapple with what kind of behavior should define the next era of the genre. Blake Shelton and Luke Bryan are not simply frustrated colleagues. They are voices of experience warning that talent alone is not enough to sustain a legacy. Morgan Wallen may be the biggest star of his generation, but without growth and accountability, his future could be more volatile than even he imagines. Gwen Stefani has said of her husband that he always puts integrity first, and Luke Bryan's tenure on American Idol proves he believes in shaping artists who can last for decades. Together, their reported message to Morgan is clear: the music matters, but so does the man behind it. Thanks for watching this video, and please subscribe to our American Idol YouTube channel for more updated news.